And welcome back, guys. It's been a fair couple of weeks and I've got to say sorry for the amount of time you lot have been waiting, but it's been one of those builds where time's been against us, working lots, so I couldn't get down to the dealership itself, and at the same time we've had some challenges with getting the parts in and sending the parts off to be powder coated, and now I'm just going to play my violin. So in today's vlog it's going to be an update on exactly where we are with Phat G, the good news stuff that's been going on and the challenges that we've had. Let me start off with the good news. Now, before I kick off, if you guys aren't following me on Instagram and Facebook, then you won't have seen the updates. So make sure you follow me on Motonewbrider on Facebook and Motonewbrider on Instagram as well. The good news stuff, the big one for me was getting the tank ready. That was absolutely massive. As you guys know, I sent the tank off to Image Design and Custom. It was there for longer than anticipated, but we had a couple of challenges with the design of the tank, and with those guys I know that I need to give them a little bit longer, and I'm never ever disappointed with the results they deliver for me. In fact, every time that I've sent a piece of paintwork off to get done, it comes back and it absolutely blows my mind. So with the tank itself, I'm going to show you some clips of the guys painting it and at the same time the finished product, and whilst you're watching the clips I'm going to talk you through the reasons why I went for this design. You're now seeing the clips that Image Design and Custom sent to me via Mandy of her doing the Phat G custom paint job on the tank. The one thing that really stood out to me the most is that the amount of layers that they have to do to get the design correct, and that's something that I've learned through the process of watching people do custom paint. In terms of the design then, you can see that I wanted to have a gold base to start with. You know, the whole point of Phat G was bringing back a gold theme to it, which I'll explain further on. With the design of the tank, there were some things that I really wanted to make sure that stood out. The big one for me was the name Phat G with a P. The reason why I called it Phat G is it started with a bit of banter with the dealership manager at Shaw's, Steve, and he always used to go on about having fat bikes, and it always used to make me giggle because really Steve's a 50-year-old dude, you won't mind me saying that, and you know, he always comes up with these phrases whereby he thinks he's 17 all over again. So the word PHAT was a bit of a wink, it was a bit of humour with the bike itself. But with that in mind, because we were bringing up a 240 at the rear, everything was going to be emphasised on this bike. It was going to be a larger than life bike. The word fat had to come into the design of the tank. In terms of G, that is a reference back to where it all began. So as you guys know, when I did the 200 on Goldie, Goldie started getting the nickname Goldie. And I've always had a gold theme running through my tanks. So with this design, I wanted to bring that back. And with it being a fat version, it was going to be the Fat Goldie, hence Phat G. The reason why I put the crown on top, for me it was a personal touch. It was all about creating a bike, from my opinion, is going to be the king of the Sportsters that I've had. Hence why I've put that crown on top. The smiley face on the side of the tank was actually inspired, and it came from Mandy. She said to me, would you like a smiley face or a skull? I thought, you know what, a smiley face would be quite cool. Actually, I think it shows a bit of cheekiness around the tank and around the design itself. With the writing itself for Phat G, I wanted something that was graffiti style based. So Mandy went to the drawing boards and came up with a design around that, and to create more of a graffiti aspect to it, she then put a bricklayer background, which I think really makes it stand out further. So that is the design of the tank. Now, before I had the tank done, my thought process was that I would just have the rear fender gloss black, which would look absolutely fantastic as it is. However, because I was so blown away by the tank design itself, I've now asked the guys at Image and Design to incorporate the paint job that they did on the tank onto the rear fender. So I think when that comes back, I'll be really glad it's done and it'll look completely sick. The next part then is the bars. So with the bars, if you think about what I've had in the past, it's either been drag bars, a T-bar, what else have I had? The built well, I think they're called windows. So in terms of height wise, I've gone from 0 or drag if you like all the way to around 8 inches. But with Phat G, I wanted it to be really, really special. As I said, I want this bike to be larger than life. You know, with the 240 rear and that fat silhouette, I just felt that the bars needed to reflect that. So with that in mind, then I chose 16-inch bars. Now, I'm going to put a picture up of the bars on the screen like so. So these bars now have been custom built for me. All the dimensions needed to create the bars that were specific for me, but they've had to be powder coated gloss black. So there is a bit of a wait, and those bars should be arriving with me in January. The next bit that's been pretty exciting, now I've got the Diamond Range guys who are local to me. They've come on board and they are giving me all their machined parts for the bike. So we're talking things like full engine bolt kit, which will be black, timing cover, axle adjusters, steering stem nuts, fork tube caps, gas cap and derby cover to finish off then. That is a lot of kit that they're giving me, and again, it's just going to add to the look of the bike, creating a real black and gold theme throughout. So that is all the good news stuff that's been going on with the bike. So let's move on to the challenges, and yeah, I've had quite a few. The biggest one that we've had is time. Time has been a massive issue for us because we've had to order parts from a distributor, which takes time in itself. So things like, if I pick an example, the wheels. So the wheels were ordered from Rix, which is a Harley Davidson store in Germany. They actually make the wheels. So that in itself took five weeks. Once the wheels had arrived, which you saw in my last vlog, they've now had to go to paint and they've had to go to anodize as well. But when we sent those off, they've also had to have a polish on top of that. So it set us back a little bit more. If you bear in mind the season that we're in as well, which is the Christmas time, it is absolutely rammed. There's obviously a queue for everything that we're doing. So that's been one of the reasons why there's been a bit of a hold up with the wheel side of things. Other things that have been a challenge, and for me this one was pretty annoying if I'm honest, and it's a bit of my fault and it's a bit of the distributor's fault as well. I'm not going to go into too much detail because it has wound me up if I'm really honest, but I basically ordered, as you guys would have seen it from the last vlog, the Legend air suspension, which I was super stoked with. If you guys have done any research on it, they're an expensive bit of kit. However, for what I wanted it for, it was absolutely ideal. So the idea was, if I was doing photos on Instagram, then I could basically slam it all the way to the wheel so it looked really nice, and then at the same time when I was riding the bike I could raise that suspension and get a really comfortable ride out of it. However, there's always a however, isn't there? When the suspension arrived, then we went, I didn't, Joey went to fit it, and then I had to call him. Cut a long story short, it didn't fit the bike. The suspension itself was for Sportsters that are non-ABS, and essentially what that means, apart from the obvious ABS, non-ABS, is that the unit that controls the air that goes in and out and blah blah blah, that unit actually would go into where the ABS unit is stored. Joey then tried to look at other areas where we could perhaps customise it and make it work via fabrication, but the issue with the Sportster, it's such a raw bike, there's no area in the frame, there's just nowhere to house a unit like that because it is quite bulky, so we had to return that item back. What that has led to is, because I ordered it from a distributor personally, they then sent it to Shaw's. Shaw's then obviously asked them to take it back, and the knock-on effect is that they've charged Shaw's 10% and £40 postage. So, and again, I don't want to go into it because I'm a little bit annoyed about it, if I'm honest, but I can't let the guys take that cost. I'm going to pay for that cost, but it could have been easily avoided. But for me, it's just a lesson learned. So what happens next? We've got Christmas, we've got New Year, everything is completely shut down. So I'm hoping by January the 5th, they'll be back at Shaw's. We'll have lots more of these parts back. So I'm hoping that the wheels will be done by this point. I'm hoping that the rear fender, I think the rear fender is going to be done the week after, if I'm honest. And then by mid to third week of January, I'm confident that the bike will be finished. There'll be other little parts going on the bike, but it's more around the detailing, so I'll point that out to you guys when we do it. But yeah, that's where we're at. This has been a real tough vlog for me to do, if I'm honest, because I'm currently standing in my spare room and it's quite small. I've got this bright light in my face. You guys are right up in my grill. And yeah, I just wanted to get something out to you guys, because if you're not following me, as I said, on Facebook and Instagram, you're not gonna know what's going on for the past 4 weeks. So that is the update on Phat G. Obviously, it is now December the 23rd today, so have a great Christmas, have a good New Year. Coming into 2019, I'm hoping that the weather's going to ease off, because it is absolutely minging at the moment. It's raining cats and dogs, and there's salt everywhere on the road. But yeah, stay safe guys, and as always, take care, all the best. Merry Christmas, Motonewbrider.